Have you ever felt like letting go of perfectionism in your style means you have to lower your standards? That if you're not actually a perfectionist about things, then you're going to be settling? I want to talk about this today because absolutely letting go of the perfectionist tendencies that may have been keeping you stuck in your style is not about settling for pieces that you don't actually love wearing. Let's chat. Today I want to talk about why letting go of the perfectionist tendencies that maybe have been keeping you stuck in your wardrobe does not equal settling. It does not mean that you have to let go of this idea that you can actually have pieces that light you up, that you love in your wardrobe, that you have to resign yourself to pieces that are less than ideal just because you've identified that you have some perfectionistic tendencies that have been keeping you stuck. I do not mean that you need to let go of having a wardrobe that actually lights you up and just settle for whatever you can find or whatever you already have. I don't mean that at all. And I'm chatting about this today because several women have, either clients who I'm working with have brought this up, or I have received comments about this and questions about, okay, well, if I am not a perfectionist and I'm not holding myself to these unrealistically high standards, then does that mean I'm just settling? Like if I'm letting go of perfectionism when I'm shopping and I've been obsessing about and overthinking about and not making a decision about buying premium denim or a new pair of brown boots, do I then just have to buy any old jeans and any old brown boots and settle for, something less than what I think I really want? No. So we're going to talk about that today. If you're not familiar with me, welcome. I am Kristen from Kristen Kane Style. I'm a style and mindset coach, and I have over 20 years of training in closets and fitting rooms, and I am really skilled at putting together outfits and helping women understand what to buy and how to edit their wardrobe and how to get dressed for a special occasion and pack for trips and identify their style and all of that. And the thing that I love most to do with clients and most to share here is how our mindset gets involved and kind of throws a wrench in things. How the way that you think is likely what's causing your style struggle. That doesn't mean that there aren't actual circumstances that are also at play. And when you can recognize the thoughts that you're thinking and the feelings that come up as a result of those thoughts and the actions that you're taking or not taking, in the sense of perfectionism, often it is inaction because we believe that if we wait long enough, we'll figure out how to do it right without actually trying anything. Action or inaction, those things, those thoughts and feelings and actions are creating the result that you are living with. So if you are stuck in your style, if you do not feel like you have a wardrobe that lights you up, we need to look at what you're thinking. That is where I start with my clients, because oftentimes women tell me, I don't have any limiting beliefs about my style. I am definitely not a perfectionist. My kids would laugh if they ever heard you say that. And once we really start to peel back the layers and get clear on where the style struggles start and what happens when they're feeling stuck and like they can't overcome whatever the thing is that they're dealing with in their wardrobe, there is often some perfectionism and some limiting beliefs that are happening in the background. Today, I want to really explore what it means to release the perfectionism, to allow yourself to work with the perfectionism and make different choices and take different actions, and how that does not mean you're letting go of the thing that you really want and you're settling for less. If you've been here a while and you like what I offer, I encourage you to subscribe so that you don't miss a video, and comment and like. I really, truly want to share my thoughts and views and coaching with as many women as possible. And so your support of my channel helps me be able to do that. So I want to kind of discuss what letting go of perfectionism in your style really means so that we can all kind of be on the same page. Before we let go of it, we kind of need to understand what it is. So perfectionism in your style is this idea, not that you are striving every day for the perfect outfit. It's that you are really cautious and afraid that you are not going to have the perfect outfit, and that you are in some way feeling inadequate and ashamed of the fact that your brain is telling you you can't get style right, possibly because you have past evidence of some situation where you felt like you didn't get style right, but you don't have what they consider in the world of personal development a growth mindset about this. You don't believe that you can find a solution. You are instead stuck in a fixed mindset of, it's hopeless, I can't find any pants that fit, it's hopeless, I can't wear the colors that are in this season, it's hopeless, there's no good shopping around me. Whatever the limiting beliefs are that are kind of cycling through are working to keep you stuck. And perfectionism then adds another layer to it. The idea of overthinking and kind of ruminating on, is this the right pair of jeans to buy? I don't know. Maybe I should keep looking. I can't decide. I'm going to buy these, then I'm going to return them, then I'm going to buy more, then I'm going to return them. It's the overthinking when you go to get dressed. Should I wear this top with these jeans, or should I try on 15 more tops before I actually leave the house in something that isn't even my favorite because I've been overthinking and spinning in the decision? It's the comparison to others. It is the being afraid that you're going to do it wrong and be judged for it. It's the procrastinating. My closet has needed to be cleaned out for, the last 2 seasons and I haven't done anything about it, but I keep shopping and stuffing more things in there. It's the procrastination of, I really need new bras, but I just actually don't want to open myself up to that. So I'm not even going to go look. I'm going to keep wearing big sweaters so nobody can tell that my bra is really poorly fitting. There are so many ways that perfectionism shows up in our wardrobe and in our style and in our habits around getting dressed. And the idea of letting those go does not mean you have to settle for a bra that doesn't fit. For instance, it just means that you need to learn that those perfectionistic tendencies and habits and those limiting beliefs have been calling the shots, and changing your thinking will change your result. So it doesn't mean letting go of perfectionism and now settling for clothing you don't love. It means changing the way you're thinking about the clothing and the perfectionistic habits you have about it, and recognizing that you likely are already having success in some areas of your wardrobe, and you want to recognize those wins and you want to celebrate them and you want to build on those. I just want to mention kind of the ironic part of all of this, and that is that likely your perfectionism is actually having you settle. Because if your perfectionism is keeping you stuck in ways of overthinking and inaction and postponing decisions and fear of judgment and fear of making a mistake and constant comparison and procrastination and all or nothing thinking and all the other ways that perfectionism shows up, if that's what's happening, you are likely defaulting to pieces you don't actually love wearing and outfits that don't actually feel super authentic and like they light you up and you're super happy to be wearing that out of the house, because the perfectionism has gotten in the way, and you're now defaulting to the option that isn't lighting you up, which is actually having you settle for the thing that isn't what you really want to be wearing, if that makes sense. So it's kind of ironic with this perfectionism and the idea that I can't let go of the perfectionism because then I'll just be settling. The perfectionism is already keeping you settling. The perfectionism is keeping you from actually having a wardrobe that lights you up and that functions super well for the life you live today, for the body you have today, so that you can just get dressed and really truly love how you look and feel and get on with your day. The idea is not to have style take up this enormous amount of time and energy every single day, every time you need to shop for a new season, every time you need to clean out your closet, every time you want to pack for a trip, every time you're invited to something. The idea is not that style becomes your whole world. The idea is exactly the opposite, that style just exists for you and you just effortlessly can put on the pieces that you love, that you already own and you know how to wear. And that is not about settling. That is about getting to know your brain and what it's doing to hold you back in order to prevent the shame of not being perfect when you get dressed. And recognize that you're already doing things that are working, that you already are having wins, and learning to notice those things and begin to celebrate the wins more often so that you can continue to do what's working and kind of lean in that direction instead of leaning in this idea of perfectionism is keeping me stuck, but if I stop trying to be perfect, I'm going to have to settle. You're already settling as a result of the perfectionistic thoughts. If you believe that by not obsessing about every detail or not worrying about what other people think, that you will ultimately end up with a style you don't love, that is absolutely untrue. I promise you, I have worked with so many women who have been in this position of having perfectionism be holding them back when it comes to creating a style that they love. And they felt like what was making them actually look good on any given day was that constant overthinking and that constant comparison and making sure that they were paying attention to every detail. When once we shifted the thinking and I helped them to recognize from a coaching standpoint inside style therapy, once I helped them to recognize that that is not what was making them look great. The looking great was happening in spite of their overthinking, and we could begin to identify what was working and pay more attention to those patterns and those behaviors and repeat them and strengthen them and grow them and get that style self-trust to be firmly in place as a result of little actions toward the wins and toward what is working, then the perfectionism loses its grip. It's similar to this also perfectionistic idea that we do our best work at the last minute. As a perfectionist, I certainly in high school and university had this idea that I was someone who really worked well at the last minute, that when there was a timeline, a deadline and a high pressure situation, I could produce exceptional work. But it's not that the deadline is what was producing the exceptional work. It's my thinking about what was happening with the deadline. So it's the same thing with the outfit. If you believe that you're ruminating and your comparison and your constant searching and you're waiting until, the last minute to actually get dressed, if you believe that's what's creating your good outfits, then of course you want to keep doing those perfectionistic tendencies. My work with women is to help them understand that that isn't what's getting them to be in the great outfit. It isn't what was getting me to have the A on the paper that I wrote at 3 a.m. It was recognizing that the thoughts that I had about writing the paper were very different at 3 a.m. than they were when I had all week to write it. It's the same with what you're thinking about your wardrobe. Letting go is not about lowering your standards. It's about shifting your focus. It's about understanding that you can create an incredible outfit without all the drama that perfectionism would have you believe is necessary. So you want to start noticing and embracing what works for you. Pay attention to what colors you like. When you wear a certain color, does it light you up? I'm not talking about when you wear a certain color, do you get lots of compliments? I want you to feel like you love the color. It is much less important that someone else loves a color on you than how you feel in it. Compliments are a kind of tricky way for us to keep things in our wardrobe that we don't actually love. I see this with clients all the time. They put something on while we're doing the closet edit and they tell me, well, I get compliments on this every time I wear it. But when we really get to the bottom and we uncover whether they like it or not, they feel amazing and authentic in it, usually the answer is no. Usually those pieces that they first off tell me that they always get compliments on it and that's why they have it in their wardrobe and they wear it often, those pieces are not the pieces they love the most. So you want to get really clear on which pieces do you love the most, which colors, which fabrics, which shapes, which brands, which combinations, what outfits do you put together that you think, I feel totally like myself in this. And when I try to deviate and wear something different, I just feel uncomfortable all day. It's a noticing and a paying attention so that you can continue to practice the things that are working. Because there's no question, again, whenever I work with women and we talk about what's working, the first thought is, well, nothing's working. That's why I'm hiring you. But once we begin to uncover what actually is working, there's usually a lot. There are usually plenty of ways where they understand themselves and they understand their style and they know what's working for them and they have some of that in their wardrobe. They've just allowed all the excess and the perfectionism and those thoughts of having to get it right or they'll be embarrassed take over and prevent them from seeing what's working. So you want to notice what's working. You want to notice what you love and what you feel good in when you wear it. So that's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to look to the wardrobe you already have and you're going to identify the pieces that you love wearing. You're going to really start to build the muscle of, I actually have success in this area. I actually do know, even if you didn't buy the piece, because I have women tell me that all the time. Well, this blouse looks really beautiful on me and I love it, but I can't take any credit for it because my partner bought it for me or my daughter gave it to me. That doesn't matter. You already know you like it. You know you like how it fits. You like how you look in it. That's a win. You've identified that. That's your style self-trust showing. If you needed to go buy something similar, you have some data to be able to repeat, not buy the same blouse, but repeat the event and repeat the feeling that you feel when you wear that blouse. Because if you, I'm using blouse as an example that just came out of nowhere. If you identify how you feel in that blouse that was a gift to you, that you have been giving yourself no credit for and letting perfectionism kind of run in the background, well, I feel terrible because I didn't actually pick this, so it doesn't count. And so wearing it doesn't make me feel great. I feel ashamed and I'm overthinking it. If you can recognize, I can identify what I love about this blouse, and likely that would help me buy another blouse similar in the future. I have some information that would allow me to make a good choice in the future. That thought is available to you. It's just when you're stuck thinking, well, I can't take any credit for this looking good because I didn't buy it. That's a completely different mindset and it creates completely different results because it creates different feelings. And then you behave differently on that side of the equation than you would if you thought, I love this blouse and it was a gift. I didn't even have to buy it. But if I were going to go look for a blouse, I would know what to look for because I like this sleeve length. I like this neckline. I like this color. Whatever the things are you love about it, you have those in the kind of win column to take with you for future purchases. So you want to recognize your wins. You want to recognize and commend yourself and celebrate when you do something that actually feels good in your style. Whether that's editing out a portion of your closet, whether it's taking a bunch of stuff to Goodwill or Salvation Army to donate it, whether it is putting on a combination that you've never worn before and actually feeling great in it that day, whether it's wearing a couple of necklaces where you usually don't wear a necklace and you decided to layer a couple today and you loved how that looked, whether you haven't been wearing belts for the last 20 years and you decided to try on a belt today and you loved how that looked. Celebrate your wins instead of feeling like, if I let go of perfectionism, my style is going to suffer. Recognize where your perfectionism has been calling the shots and kind of keeping you stuck. Well, you can't wear a belt because you've gained weight. If you call attention to your waist, that would be terrible. Everyone will judge you. You used to wear belts, but now you can't. And isn't that horrible? And you're a failure because of it. And all of that noise that goes on in our brain, if we can take action anyway and recognize that the new action ended up to actually be a win, we begin to build momentum and grow what I love to call style self-trust, because that's what gets you to a wardrobe you actually love, and to be able to shop with ease and edit without any question and confidently put on combinations, new combinations from your own wardrobe that actually feel amazing. And so then I suggest creating some go-to outfit formulas. Really, truly identify what combinations you like. For me, it's jeans and a t-shirt, jeans and a big chunky cream sweater and a pair of sneakers or a pair of boots, depending on the season. Identify the outfit formulas that work for you, that you like, so that if you repeat those, you're not settling, you're not letting go of this idea of looking great. You're leaning into what works for you. You're leaning into the outfit formulas that make getting dressed easy and effortless, and you look and feel authentic and fabulous as a result. So create a couple of outfit formulas. You don't have to stick with them forever. Use what you already own. Don't go shopping for this. Just get into your wardrobe and recognize that there are ways that you can combine pieces into formulas that work for you. And you can repeat those formulas and you can have that feel amazing and look amazing, and it removes the perfectionism, but you're not settling because you actually like the outfit formula. And then the next thing I would encourage is to actually try a slightly different combination or a slightly different piece than you usually wear, or something in your wardrobe that you've hesitated to put on for whatever the reason, and you just wear it without overthinking. The most beautiful part about this is it will let you know if the item stays or the item goes, or if you need to tweak something for the next time. So by wearing a piece out of the house, even if you don't wear it out of the house and you just wear it for the better part of the day, you will quickly identify, actually, I don't love this piece. It can go. The perfectionism gets a little bit quieter when we actually put it on and make the decision to actually wear it without overthinking, that we don't allow ourselves that. Literally, I have clients who set a timer. If this is a place where their perfectionism kind of gets stuck and they get hung up, I have them set a timer to really, truly get dressed in under however many minutes feels realistic for you, and just pick a combo, not something you've worn before, or not an entire head to toe formula or lazy go-to that you're used to. Challenge yourself to branch out of that a little bit. What you want to do is really get the perfectionism to quiet down by taking action. Because the more you take action, the more evidence you have of whether something worked or didn't work. You begin to gather evidence. Okay, when I wear those two colors together, I actually don't feel good. I don't love that. I now know those two colors together don't make me feel my most authentic, fabulous self. Prior to doing it, to wearing that combo, you just have all the noise in your brain. And your brain tells you if you let go of perfectionism, then you might have to just settle for either wearing that combo or never wearing that combo because the noise is too loud for you to ever actually put pink and hot pink and red together. Once you put hot pink and red together, you might decide that is a new go-to for you. You love that combo, or you actually don't love it at all. But if you stay stuck in the inaction of perfectionism, you don't know whether that feels like settling to you. Well, this is not really a combo I love, and if I had to wear this, I would feel like I was settling for something less than what I really want to wear. You never learn that if you don't actually put the pieces on. So quickly make the decision. Set a timer for however long feels right for you. Shorten it shorter than you maybe want. If you want to give yourself 10 minutes, give yourself 5, and really truly just put something on and go, because then you can begin to understand what is working about those pieces and what isn't, and evaluate and edit and replace and tweak as needed. Lastly, I'll mention start a style journal. Whether you do this on your phone with photos and notes, kind of in your notes app, or somewhere where you can take a photo of what you're wearing and actually jot down your thoughts and your feelings and kind of an overview of how it felt to actually be in that outfit all day, physically and emotionally, or whether you actually get a blank book and you just write down, I wore my blank jeans with my this top and these shoes, and here's where I went today, and this is how I felt. And by the end of the day, the shirt I realized was too small and it wasn't staying tucked in the way I wanted it to, or the sweater, the shoulders felt really tight. If you can keep track, it's much like a time journal or a food journal or any other kind of journal where you're tracking your actions so that you can track your progress and recognize your wins. A perfectionist brain wants us to just stay stuck. Our brains like routine. Our brains want to conserve energy. They absolutely are designed to keep us safe. So if the loop of perfectionism has, according to your brain, been working for you, it does not want you to deviate. So of course it wants you to think, if you were to let go of perfectionism, then you would just be settling. So keep this perfectionism loop going, because settling is definitely not what you want. But once you start to recognize that the perfectionistic loop isn't really accurate, it's just based on repeated thoughts that have become beliefs, and it is challengeable, it is something that can be shifted. The growth mindset and the neuroplasticity that as humans we have allows us to pull ourselves away from the thinking that isn't creating the result we want and begin to create new thought patterns that lead to the style result that we actually want to have in our lives. It's not about settling. It's about really releasing the idea of perfection and picking new thoughts, and new feelings will result from those thoughts, and new actions and new results will ultimately be what happens. And you will find yourself wearing a wardrobe you love absolutely without settling. And the style journal is like a tool to override your brain, I guess. Your brain wants you to not actually look at what's happening, because then you might decide you're brave enough to take a little bit of action in a different direction. And that to your brain signals danger. It knows that we've been doing this a certain way. She's been thinking these perfectionistic thoughts and it's been working. She's been staying alive. It's terrific. We don't want to change that. So when you want to begin to try something different, your brain tosses out all kinds of noise, settling, and other things to prevent you from doing something that could possibly bring you danger. Obviously, changing your wardrobe is not dangerous, though your brain would have you think otherwise. And when you keep a style journal, once you get it out of your brain and onto paper or onto your computer, you can begin to see how untrue some of the things that you've been thinking and believing are. I was going to say absurd or ridiculous, which you will probably notice that they seem almost silly and foolish. It's like a bad dream. In our mind, it seems big and terrible and scary. And when we actually start to tell it to someone else, we're like, this sounds kind of ridiculous. I realize, wow, what is happening in my head? It's the exact same thing in our conscious, and subconscious life when we're awake, where we have these thoughts that if we don't question them, we can't change them. And so keeping a style journal allows you to look at what you're thinking and what you're wearing, and how what you're thinking about what you're wearing is keeping you stuck possibly in a style you don't love. So recognizing that your perfectionism is what's telling you that if you let go of that and you begin to kind of poke holes in the beliefs and the thoughts and the overthinking and the comparison and the fear of judgment and the procrastination, if you start to wiggle that loose and not allow that to be running the show, of course your brain wants you to think that the only alternative would be settling, so you better keep up these high standards, but that isn't actually true. You are already winning in a lot of ways that you maybe haven't identified and aren't looking at and aren't seeking to identify and to see yet. Once you begin to see, hey, wait, I actually do have some skill in this area. And it's not about settling. It's about learning to actually love what does work for me and to incorporate more of that into my closet so that getting dressed can be easy, and paying attention to how I feel and what I think when I get dressed in certain combos, so that I can begin to lean into that and to replicate those and shop for more of that color and more of that texture and more of that brand, and ultimately build a wardrobe that is absolutely not about settling, but about really embracing your own incredible personal style without the perfectionism being so loud that you can't take action. I hope that is helpful. I would love to hear in the comments how this shows up for you and what really your feeling is about if you let go of your stringent perfectionistic thoughts and tendencies. Does it feel like you'll be settling for clothing that's just kind of mediocre and I don't really love that? That is absolutely not what this is about. I promise you. If you would like to find out more about working one-on-one with me, style therapy is the way we do that. There is a link down below with all the details. We can hop on a 1-hour Zoom call if you would like to discuss what style therapy is all about and how it will change your relationship with getting dressed and whether or not it's a good fit. If you're not already following me over on Instagram, I delve into some kind of behind the scenes and shorter answers to style struggles that women share over there. I would love to have you come follow me. I'm at Kristen Kane Style there as well. I'll be back next Friday with a new video. I hope you have a great week. Thanks so much for being here.